Since 2022, Bitcoin has returned around 300%, outperforming the S&P 500 by over 250%, and also outperforming its physical rival gold by over 250%. But while a 300% return over a couple of years is very impressive when compared to other assets, when we zoom out and look at Bitcoin's short history, it has provided much greater returns than a mere 300% rise. Between 2019 and 2021, Bitcoin provided investors with a 2,000% return. If Bitcoin today followed the footsteps of this bull market, it would take price to around $200,000 by March of 2025. Bitcoin's run between 2016 and 2018 provided investors with a staggering 9,000% return. Following the same path today would take Bitcoin to around $750,000 by March of 2025. So today, with Bitcoin rallying around 20% just over the last month, with price just below its all-time high of $72,000, it seems like a good moment to ask whether Bitcoin is poised for another extraordinary move higher, or if investors should be more worried about another large drawdown on Bitcoin similar to what we saw in 2022. Now, as a disclaimer in this video, I do want to highlight that we have an active position on Bitcoin on our website. We initiated the position in early May at around $60,000, and it's so far up around 15%. These are the types of trades that we go through with our members step by step. You can see all of the closed trades that we've had in 2024 on our website. We've had multiple large trades on crypto yielding 30, 60, 80% returns. We also trade various commodities, US stocks, foreign stocks. We don't get all of them right. You can see there's some losing trades, but we try to keep the losses as small as possible and the gains of our winners as large as possible. If you want to have the full access to all of these trades, make sure to sign up to our membership. Our trade on Bitcoin today is ultimately based on the fact that we're optimistic on the stock market moving higher. You can see there's a very tight correlation between the S&P 500, the US stock market, and Bitcoin's performance. A rising stock market over the next few months would likely mean that Bitcoin rises along with it. When the stock market is falling, Bitcoin is falling as well. It's quite easy to make the case that periods when the stock market is performing well coincide with periods where Bitcoin is performing well. And periods where the stock market is struggling coincide with periods where Bitcoin is moving lower. Now, this relationship isn't perfect by any means. There are moments when the S&P 500 is running higher and Bitcoin is crashing, like here in 2021, or like here in 2019. But we don't think that this is a very plausible scenario today. The primary reason for that is because of our Bitcoin valuation model. This is a model that we built that's based on two components, the S&P 500 and the dollar. And based on these two components, we can get an idea of what the fair value of Bitcoin actually is. And when we add Bitcoin's price returns on top of our model, we see that there's moments when Bitcoin is overvalued relative to our model and moments when it's undervalued relative to our model. And you can see these two spikes of overvaluation here were at the beginning of 2021 and in mid-2019. And when we look at when that was on Bitcoin's price chart, it was right here at these two peaks where Bitcoin started to move down, even though these were periods where the stock market was rising. Today, we don't see that same risk. Our model today actually shows that Bitcoin is actually undervalued. So that's two of the reasons why we are optimistic on Bitcoin today, because we think stocks can still rise and that Bitcoin isn't overvalued today like it was in 2021 or in 2019. But that doesn't mean that we're going to see extraordinary returns looking forward from Bitcoin. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is heavily influenced by the economic cycle. You can see this line here is something called the PMI, and it basically measures economic activity. So if the economy is very strong, investors feel confident, and they start to put their money in risky assets like Bitcoin. When the economy is weakening and rolling over, investors feel less confident and remove their money from risky assets like Bitcoin. If we were to see a significant economic contraction, it's safe to say that Bitcoin would be vulnerable to that type of economic development. The truth is that Bitcoin only started to actively get traded on exchanges in 2011. We don't know how Bitcoin behaves during recessions, and the next economic downturn is going to be a real test for this asset. And if you've been watching our videos, you'll know that we expect a recession to begin playing out in around September of this year. So our best guess would be that any upside on Bitcoin that we see today is likely to get reversed at some point over the next year. We're also managing our risks very carefully with these technical levels. If Bitcoin begins to break down below these key support levels, we'd likely close this position and book the 10-15% profit that we've already made on this trade. Our target for Bitcoin right now is at around $80,000 by the end of June of 2024. These are not quite extraordinary returns, but that could be as much as a 45% profit from the moment that we initiated the trade on the website. Now, just because we think that a recession could drag Bitcoin lower over the next year doesn't mean that we won't ever see extraordinary returns on Bitcoin ever again. Bitcoin's market cap today is just above $1 trillion. That's around the same market cap as Meta, a single company. Our opinion is that the long-term value of Bitcoin will provide society with a significantly greater value than what any one company can do. It already today allows millions of people around the world to protect their purchasing power from collapsing local currencies. Countries like Venezuela, Argentina, Turkey, Lebanon, Zimbabwe are prime examples of this just over the last few years. Gold's market cap is at around $16 trillion today. We think Bitcoin's market cap has every reason to move towards that kind of number. If that ends up being the case, Bitcoin could rise to a price 10 times greater than the current level. We'll be looking to benefit from these types of returns every step of the way. If you want to do that with us, grab yourself a membership to our website and join our fantastic community. By the way, we're looking to hire a research associate to help promote Game of Trades. This job would be 100% commission-based, but with the possibility of accumulating significant passive income over time. So if you like our research, you have a deep passion for financial markets, and some time on your hands, you can send me your resume and letter of motivation to jobs@gameoftrades.net.